Hey everybody, Andy Stickel here. Hope you're having a good day. Listen, I want to talk to you about something. A lot of times, one thing that I see from a lot of lawyers is that they tend to overcomplicate things. Now, the one thing you have to remember is that most lawyers have a higher level of education than most of their clients. You have 4 years of college, plus you have an advanced degree, you have a law degree. Some have even other degrees. I know some lawyers that are also medical doctors. Um, a lot of times what happens is I see content that's written by lawyers, either blog posts or social media posts or advertisements or different things like that. And the problem is that it's written like a lawyer would write it. Now, the issue with that is that it's typically too complicated for the average person to understand. You need to make things very, very, very simple. You need to write it like a third grade or a fourth grade level, and that's very difficult to do when you're a lawyer and you've got this high level of education. So I want to show you how you can simplify a free tool that you can use that you should run everything you write. You should run through this editor, and it makes life really, really simple. So here's the status update that I'm going to actually use for this exact video. So it's, hey lawyers, when you compose advertising copy for your website or social media posts or advertisements, do you write like a lawyer? If so, there's a high probability that you're making your content overly complicated, and actually there's a typo here. Let's see, and you capture more attention if you yeah. Let's see, maybe I need to write like a lawyer. All right. And you capture more attention if you made it easier to understand. Below is an extremely simple method that you can implement to accomplish this goal. Now, I want to show you what you do. So before I post this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to Hemingway Editor. So all you have to do is you can go to Google and type Hemingway app and just search for it. It's the first one here. Or just go to hemingwayapp.com. Now, what you do, it's going to start off with this whole thing. And what's kind of cool about this is it gives you kind of a tutorial of how the Hemingway app works before you even use it. So if you look here, the yellow sentence, if a sentence is hard to read, then it highlights it yellow. If it is very hard to read, it highlights it red. Now you can change when there's alternative phrases you can use. So like right here, you can utilize a shorter word. It'll just suggest easier words. So you just click that. You can use a shorter word, and then right here it'll tell you words that you can probably get rid of. Green is showing passive voice and different things like that. So what you should do is when you come in here, copy that entire, select that entire thing, delete it, paste your copy in here. And as you can see, my entire copy here is extremely complicated. So there's got to be some easier ways that I can make that. There's got to be some ways that I can make this easier. So what your goal is to make this so that there is no color whatsoever. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So, all right, hey lawyers, when you compose advertising copy for your website or social media posts or advertisements, do you write like a lawyer? So now what I typically do is I start looking at specific words and I think, is there anything that I can remove? So compose, what's another word for that? Let's say write. When you write advertising copy, let's get rid of advertising, right? Add copy for your website or social media posts or advertisements. Now this is already good, but now I'm looking at this. So now I change this to, hey lawyers, when you write ad copy for your website or social media posts, do you write like a lawyer? So you see how much simpler that is compared to when you compose advertising copy for your website or social media post. You just see how it's a lot easier, right? Now, if so, there's a high probability that you're making your content overly complicated. So first of all, it's suggesting that we get rid of the word overly because we don't need it. So, all right, so now it just says that this sentence is very hard to read. So if so, there's a high probability that you're making your content making your content complicated. So what you can say is, if so, you're probably making your content complicated, and you capture more attention if you made it easier to understand. So let's say there's probably making it more complicated, and you capture more attention if you made it were simple. Okay, we can get rid of that. If so, get rid of that. You're making your content complicated, difficult to read. There we go. So if so, you're likely. Oh wait, hold on a second. No. Okay, so this is perfect. So, hey lawyers, when you write ad copy for your website or social media posts, do you write like a lawyer? If so, you're making your content difficult to read and you'd capture more attention if it were simple. Below is an extremely simple method. Again, it's telling us get rid of the word extremely because we don't need it. Below is a simple method that you can implement, say put in place, to, I don't like do, let's try to reach this goal. So now if we look at the before and after, and this might seem a little simple, but this will make a big difference. When things are easier to read, it makes things easier. And actually, when we look at something real quick, so we see this is at a 5th grade level. That's pretty good. So, hey lawyers, when you write ad copy for your website or social media posts, do you write like a lawyer? Hey lawyers, when you compose advertising copy for your website or social media posts or advertisements, do you write like a lawyer? So this is way easier to understand. If so, you're making your content difficult to read and you capture more attention if it were simple. If so, there's a high probability that you're making your content overly complicated and you'd capture more attention if you made it easier to understand. Again, we're saying the same thing, it's just so much easier. Below is an extremely simple method that you can implement to accomplish this goal. Below is a simple method that you can put in place to reach this goal. Very simple. So, what I will do is I will copy this, and let's see, copy that. So you see this is an 8th grade level. It says, actually no, it says a 10th grade level. So we've shaved 5 years of school. We've shaved the requirement of 5 years of school out by just changing some of the words. And you can see what I'm saying right here. And you say this says, okay, aim for 9. We got down to 5th grade. So I will delete this. I will post this, and then I'm going to upload this video, and below is a, mistake. Below is a simple method. Okay, so there we go. So basically, I'm just going to upload this video with this post, and you're going to see it live in action. All right, thanks, guys. I will talk to you soon.